From looking at your recent feedback and the comments on other videos, it looks like a fair chunk of you is looking to start a collection of coins of the Roman Empire, which happens to be my main collecting focus. I've already published a video on affordable Roman coins. If you haven't looked at it, I recommend to check it out and come back here later. Today, I'm going to elaborate a bit better on some great alternatives for people seeking to start out a collection. These are some of my own coins that I find very easy to read, easy to understand, and among some of the most common types on the market. And I'll give you a quick tour on each piece and what you can expect on each type. Let's get started so you can build your own collection. Let's go! So first, a bit of historical context. These coins we'll be talking about today come from the 3rd and 4th centuries AD. It's a time period not a lot of people pay attention to, but these are fascinating centuries, full of civil war, betrayal, heroes and villains, intrigue. If you're interested in ancient coins, you must have a certain interest and curiosity on reading about the historical context of when your coin was struck. So I promise you will not be disappointed with the amazing stories behind these coins I'm going to show. And why do coins from the 3rd and 4th century tend to be more affordable? Well, there are a couple of reasons for that. First, people did not have banks back then. So if they saw the political situation was starting to worry them, they would hoard their coins and bury them somewhere. There's a direct correlation between political instability and coins being hoarded. Many people did not come back to retrieve their savings, and as a result, these coins have reached our days in abundance. Also, these 2 centuries suffered from a chronic problem of debasement and inflation. Civil unrest, economic instability, and high state expenditure to fund the wars of this time took their toll on the purity of silver coins. No coin in this video has more than 50% silver, some of them considerably less. This means that mountains of coins were struck, so this excessive minting on coins added to the fact people hoarded them, and as a result, a lot of coins in absolute numbers got to our days. So how about we kick things off with a denarius? A Roman collection is bound to have a bunch of denarii in it. It's just such an iconic coin, you're bound to collect it. It's well made, the legends are generally clean and easy to read, and because it is such an important denomination for Roman history, there are a lot of sources where you can research the message your coin tries to pass. This example we're going to look at was struck under the reign of Severus Alexander, the last Roman emperor to reign before the infamous crisis of the 3rd century. He was part of the Severan dynasty, a really interesting imperial family to start collecting, since the majority of their denarii are very easy to get in good grade and for a good price. This type in particular was struck between the years 222 and 228. On the obverse, we see the bust of a very young Alexander, since these coins were struck when he was between 14 and 20, with the legends Imperator, Caesar, Marcus Aurelius, Severus, Alexander Augustus. On the reverse, we're greeted with an image of Jupiter, the king of the gods, sitting on his throne holding a staff and a small statue of the goddess Victory. The legends, Jovi Ultori, Jupiter the Avenger, are a clear sign of warning to any possible usurpers. And there were many. Next, I'm going to give a big jump in time to the year 274 AD, when Aurelian reunited the empire and brought it back from its near collapse. By that time, the quality of Roman coins was absolutely dreadful, and among some of Aurelian's reforms was a drastic improvement over that really bad coinage, bringing it up to a poor but better than what they had previously, 5% silver, and increasing the weight and quality of the coin. We call these coins nowadays Aurelianus. The Aurelianus, or also known Aurelianianus, were struck between 270 and 295 and are quite interesting for their very militaristic nature. The emperors who put back Rome back in its feet were hard-fisted military generals and career soldiers. So if you like to see emperors wearing armor and typical military themes, it's a really interesting niche to collect. So let's start by having a look at this coin from Aurelian himself. We can see Aurelian wearing his armor. You can even see the metal plates around his shoulders, as well as the rings in his chainmail. He's wearing the radiate crown, which used to mean these coins were worth 2 denarii, but also connected to Aurelian's worship of Sol Invictus, the sun god, and the legends Imperator, Caesar, Aurelianus, Augustus. The reverse is what I find fascinating in this coin. It gives us a glimpse of the very violent times they were living in. We see the sun god raising his hand, holding the world in his hand, and stepping violently on 2 captives. The legends Oriens Augusti makes reference to the sun god, since the sun tended to rise from the east or the orient, and the letters XXI on the lower part represent the purity, 20 parts of copper to 1 part silver. I really like this denomination, so let's look at another Aurelianianus. This one is from another very important emperor. If Aurelian avoided the empire's collapse, Diocletian made sure to stabilize it so it could go over existing for more than a century. Diocletian reformed many aspects of the Roman administration, including the coinage once again, creating an entirely new monetary system. But before reforming it, he also minted the very last Aureliani, so we're going to have a look at one of these. On the obverse of this piece, struck in 294 AD, we see a less openly militaristic Diocletian. The man now has a cloak on top of his armor, so it doesn't look as threatening as Aurelian. And the legends are less straight to the point like with Aurelian. We can read Imperator, Caesar Gaius, Valerianus Diocletianus, Pius Felix, Augustus, showing himself more as once again a politician instead of just a strong man from the military. And the reverse reflects the more stable times. We don't see a deity smashing captives anymore. Instead, we're greeted with Felicitas, the incarnation of happiness, finally making a return to the public scene. We see her holding a caduceus, the symbol of commerce, symbolizing it is once again safe to invest and conduct business. She seemed very relaxed, reclined on a column, and the legends, Felicitas Augusta, thanking the emperor for bringing her back to the Romans. Just a year later, Diocletian would reform the monetary standard, introducing what we call nowadays the late Roman coinage. The world of late Roman coins is very long and complicated and deserves an entire video in itself. But there's one very interesting coin from Diocletian's reform that I recommend every collector has. It's a Follis of the Tetrarchy, when Diocletian ruled the empire with 3 other colleagues. The Follis, also called numus by some numismatists, is also 5% silver, but this time is a very big and impressive coin. Since the objective was to withdraw the old, debased coins and reissue it all in the shape of these better coins, they were struck in very vast numbers and are very easy to obtain in high grade today. So how about we examine this 10 grams monstrosity struck for Maximianus, one of the tetrarchs, in the year 299 AD. All follies of the tetrarchy barely differentiate the emperors by their portraits. This was made on purpose as they wanted the people of the empire to see the figure of the emperor or the imperial institution more as an abstract and unreachable concept instead of just another mortal man. The only way we can distinguish Maximian from the other 3 tetrarchs is through the legends, which read Imperator, Marcus Aurelius, Maximianus, Augustus. The reverse types are also the same for all of the 4 colleagues. There's some variety on the types, but by far the most common is this one, the Genio Populi Romani type. On the center, we can see the Genio, the incarnation of sort of like the entire Roman people, holding a ceremonial cup and carrying the cornucopia, the horn of abundance. This was an imperial slogan trying to let's say, boost the morale of the Roman people, almost as if saying that the union of all of the people's ingenuity and strength was responsible for finally coming out of that horrible crisis. And finally, for the last coin of the day, let's go to the end of the 4th century, where Theodosius, arguably the last great Roman emperor, definitely split the Western Empire from the Eastern Empire. We don't know exactly the name of this denomination, but it is called by some numismatists a majorina, a big bronze denomination you very commonly see among late Roman coins. So for this example, struck between 378 and 388 AD, we once again have a very strong militaristic theme. We see the emperor wearing a plume helmet, wearing armor, and we can even see like his tiny little hand holding a spear, ready for battle. The legends are very typical for late Roman coins. Dominus Noster, our Lord, Theodosius, Pius Felix, Augustus. The reverse is one of my favorites for the period. We can see the emperor standing over a boat, almost like if leading his troops into an amphibious assault. His ship is being steered by no other than the goddess Victory, showing he's basically a divine figure. The legends read Gloria Romanorum, the glory of the Roman people, and the letters on the lower part mean that this coin was struck at the city of Nicomedia. Now, remember that at the end of the day, this is going to be your collection, so you should pick what gives you joy. If the coins you want to collect are from another time period that fascinates you, that is absolutely fine. You just need to adapt your budget accordingly. These suggestions are the result of my own experimenting. I didn't know much about Diocletian or Aurelian at first until I picked up their coins, and this enticed my curiosity, which made me realize they have a lot of cool stories behind them that most people, even ancient numismatists, don't know a lot of. So I would like to hear from you. Have you got any budget-friendly coins in your collection that you really like? Any particular reason why you like them? Let us know in the comment section, so other people can see it too. Hopefully this was a useful guide, and if it was, please leave a like and subscribe, so we can keep bringing ancient coins to YouTube. I hope you all stay safe, and see you soon.